We begin today with Project Hired's Wounded Warrior Project. With me here on Comunidad del Valle with Project Hired are Gwen Ford and Jeremiah Gages is an Army veteran, and they brought with them Rocky. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Sir, tell me first of all about Rocky, why he's here and what he does for you.
Well, Rocky helps me with PTSD and TBI. He helps me with everyday living. I have severe migraines that he's able to detect before they get too bad, so I can take a medication for it. Anxiety levels, he's able to let me know that I'm getting a little anxious and calm me down a little bit.
What does he do? For instance, he's laying peacefully now. What does he do normally to kind of alert you?
He starts nudging me, gets up in my lap when I get like for migraines. He jumps up in my lap, wakes me up if I'm asleep. Medications, he's able to go get medications.
That's awesome.
For me.
And so you came back from where, sir? Where did you serve? And what was it, do you think, that brought upon the PTSD?
I was in Korea for 3 years. And then I would do a prisoner transport back and forth from Iraq. I was in an incident, one of my deployments, which had some PTSD issues from that.
How hard is it for you to talk about that?
It's a little difficult still today. I'm working through it a lot better than I used to be. Working with a service dog has definitely helped me a lot. I'm now working in a lot further than I used to be. Before I didn't leave the house.
Well, good luck to you. That's the reason we're here, is that you're working now. How I don't want to say impossible, but how difficult would it have been for you to find a job without the resources of Project Hired?
I don't think I would have been working without Project Hired. Project Hired was there with all the resources that I ever needed to get the ball rolling. I was able to get the service dog through the Project Hired, which took some time to work with my service dog. Made me confident to look for a job. When I was ready for the job market, Project Hired was there to help me look for that job.
What is it that your agency did, Gwen, that allowed and allows folks like Jeremiah to find work?
Well, for Jeremiah, we saw the need for his assistance being our service dog program. He was not quite ready to go back to work yet. So we have a trainer who we contacted after his therapist contacted us to start working with him. And the trainer matched the dog. She went to the shelter, got the dog, and matched it with Jeremiah. It took a while. It's been a few years since we started working with Jeremiah, but the dog has been able to get him to be independent and encouraged him to get back into the workplace. So we were able to find him a job. Actually, the job we found was one that we needed filled out in Livermore at our call center. He's come to the point now, though, he's ready to move on to the competitive market in a bigger job. He's done an excellent job out at our call center and patient scheduling.
And now you want to help other veterans like Jeremiah. Tell us about the event you have coming up.
We do. We have a Wounded Warrior Workforce Conference coming up at the end of May. We do this every year, and it is to bring employers and our veterans, not just our wounded veterans, but all of our veterans, together to find employment. Right now, on May 31st, is the Wounded Warrior Conference. We have over 44 companies already signed up, and they have to come with jobs. And then we have other resources that are going to be there to support them. We're trying to educate the employers, so 2 days before the actual conference on the 31st, we're going to start an executive summit. And that's for executives at the director level and above to come together and talk about hiring veterans. and most particularly our wounded, injured, and ill veterans. Getting some processes set up in there in places of employment that will welcome and support veterans and their families. So at that summit on the 29th and the 30th, we will be talking to executives about issues, best practices, benchmarking, etc. It's a good time for them to really get together and to, look at what each of them are doing, discuss the issues in getting veterans hired in the workplace. And it's been very successful every year. This year, we pulled it out into a day all by itself at the request of the executives who have been attending over the past year, because the time allotted during the conference wasn't enough.
What does it say about those executives and their companies who say, I'm here to help and I'm going to hire?
What a progress. It is just really very exciting to see the companies now stepping up and saying, we want to hire veterans, we want to do it right, and we want to keep them once we hire them. And so they're showing up for the summit and other things. They're calling us. They're asking for consulting help to help them put their programs together. They're asking for veterans to hire. They're sending us jobs, and they're also using us to help retain those veterans once they hire them, because we'll act as their coach, we'll act as their mentor. We also support the veteran once they're hired. So if they start having difficulty, there's some place for them to come to.
We can talk about that in our next segment, but maybe if you're a veteran, you'd like to seek out the help of Project Hired, or maybe you're still accepting recruiters and folks with companies who are willing to hire?
Yes.
All right, well, there is the web address for more information. The event is happening May 29th through 31st in San Jose. Log on for more information. We'll be back and talk more about Rocky, with Rocky, Jeremiah, and Gwen when we continue. Stay with us. We're back here on Comunidad del Valle with Project Hired and the Hire a Wounded Veteran Project. How was the training with Rocky and getting him acclimated to kind of your daily processes at home and at work and whatnot?
The training was challenging at first. Like I said, I isolated myself a lot, so I pushed myself to take Rocky out in public because he needed that. He needed to be out in front of people, crowded places. As that was one of my trouble spots, was being out in that crowd. So it took some time, but it helped me push my limits. So it was good training for both of us.
Gwen says you're ready to transition into the global market, if you will. Give us your sales pitch if there's an employer out there who's ready to take advantage of having the assets that you can provide.
Well, I'm a hard worker and I've come a long ways from where I was at.
You're there to make their company succeed.
Like I said, I took a beating and I'm back up on my feet and ready to go again.
Good luck to you. It might be easy for folks like Jeremiah to get in the shell and stay in the shell, but he hasn't done that. How vital is that, and how encouraging is the work that you're doing to make sure that they don't stay in the shell?
Well, Jeremiah has worked very hard, especially with Rocky, but it's still important for us to be there, not us in particular, but any employer to be there to provide support. Jeremiah brings some very good skills and work habits to the workplace. He's reliable, he's diligent, and all of that is something that employers are looking for. And his skills are very good, and we know that when he says he's going to be someplace, he's going to be there. And so the employer really depends on him a lot. But even with that, there needs to be some flexibility, because he's still recuperating in some ways, and flex work hours, things like that. A lot of our veterans need. A lot of people with disabilities, period, need that. But if we can provide that. But the biggest thing is employers need to not fear service dogs in the workplace. As you can see, Rocky is very obedient, So he's going to stay under the desk or wherever he's supposed to stay. So it's okay to have a service dog.
It might be a little distracting because my coworkers here in the newsroom were all over Rock when we walked in.
Exactly. It's amazing, though, how even the service dog calms the entire office down when they come into the workplace. And so I think that flexibility, that willingness to know that the service dog is an accommodation just like a wheelchair would be an accommodation.
All right. Well, it's Project Hired, and they're doing some fascinating work across the Bay Area. There is the web address for more information. Any final thoughts from either of you before we let you all go?
I just want to encourage the employers to attend the conference. They're going to get training workshops all day long for employers and career fair all day for the veterans, and it's an opportunity for them to really see how they can adapt their workplaces to accommodate our veterans.
Great. Thank you for what you're doing for our veterans. And sir, thank you for serving.
Thank you.
All right.